There it is.
Already did, Captain.
Into the Nerd Caliber page right now to look in the link. I know, just that would be about, something to eat up the time.
That was Byron McNeil that you just heard there, folks. We'll be introducing ourselves in just a few minutes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and as I try to do studio guy work here and figure out how to turn off the sound to that bumper music that you were just listening to, welcome to the newest edition of, or location for, or however you want to describe it, what we're now calling Nerd Week Live. Because there are a lot of, I'm going to try to stop with those ums, folks, so please bear with me. There are a lot of Nerd News Live people out there who think that they own it, I guess. So we're going to go with something that isn't out there. Nerd Week Live, that's us now. We're here on YouTube. We really want to see all sorts of your chat, just like you normally would with us being on Facebook. To start with the introductions, I am Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. I'm first-person shooter on the internet, and I say a lot, and I'm going to try to work on that. And please, call me out. Help me on that, folks. Joining us tonight, we're going to start with somebody who hasn't been here for quite a while, and that would be Tomotalk guy? That would be that gentleman.
Hi, Byron D0, contributing writer, social media guy for Nerd Caliber. I've been away for a while, but I'm glad to be missed. Hi.
Welcome back. Byron, do you want to plug your particular thing now?
Yes, I will. For those of you that don't know, I run a little podcast called the We Trash Can Podcast, which is on iTunes and Google Play, and we are also a member of the Podcast Massachusetts Network. We talk about anime, we gush over it, we do roundtable discussions. Some point in the future, we plan on doing series retrospectives. But if you like to hear nerds talk about anime, we are your show.
So the Podcast Massachusetts Network isn't just a bunch of guys named Sully sitting around talking about the Red Sox.
No. They talk about Godsmack, too.
Of course. And also joining us, the stalwart and ever blue-walled... That would be you. Your mic is off, sir. Your mic is still off, sir.
Sorry, people. I tend to mute my mic because I have a mechanical keyboard, and everyone, hey, whatever. It looks great. I was just going to insert some subtitles below of some, orcish language or something like that. It would have been hilarious.
I love that.
Hi, everyone. It's Louis Correa, also known as Crash the Stampede or Crash the Photos if you like to follow me on Instagram. Had the good fight, got my account back, so that's fantastic. Right now, I'm doing a heavy grind on World of Warcraft if you want to join me. I play a demon hunter by the name of Edgelord. His name sounds like he's from the South Shore. It's really funny. Right now, I'm just grinding away for moats. I'm looking forward to trying this new setup tonight. I'm looking at the stream, but I don't see the stream running. Maybe it's just me.
No, that is not just you. The stream... Oh, now we're back. But apparently we've now got bad video settings. I am going to have to look into something here. My keyframe setting is off on our OBS. So folks, bear with me as I make these changes on the fly. You get to see how the sausage is made. That's an awful analogy. And it's not there. So it would be under output, maybe?
All right.
So entertain us.
Okay. Well, first of all, I love that Hamilton reference that you made. That was cute.
It was completely unintentional if you're referring to me.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I will take it. But I really... It was unintentional. It's under no, it's not under streaming.
Well, idle chatter wise, I do have a Discord where I play games and stuff like that on and talk to people because I get bored a lot. And Discord is one of my favorite tools to talk with all my friends all over the world. I found a really nice thing that attaches to it called RhythmBot, which has become my best friend when I do my lonely Motes of Harmony grind. Really, it's a program that runs in the background of Discord that allows you to play music. It pulls music from YouTube. So you can make all types of like a music list and then run it, and then it'll play within the audio channel so everyone can hear it and regulate the audio to how they like it. I tell you, man, there's nothing like some like girls just want to have fun as you're flying your like weird dwarven helicopter looking for like these little things to mine, because that's what I do. Everybody else in my guild is like, let's go on raids. I'm like, no, I need to mine. It's like an addiction. I'm like the guy in Fifth Element standing in front of Bruce Willis's door. It's like, give me the boots. Give me the boots.
That's something I definitely want to try my hand at some point, is getting into the Discord racket, because I've barely scratched the surface with it myself.
It's pretty fun if you take like 10 minutes to learn how to automate things. The music thing by itself, most of my friends love it. And like on every Thursday or so, whenever we can get together, I run a Shadowrun game. People, if you nerds love Cyberpunk, play Shadowrun. It's amazing. There's the physical game, but there's also like the tabletop, like D&D style, which is amazing. But anyways, so I use it for Shadowrun, and when I'm using it for Shadowrun, I use Rhythm to add the ambiance music, and it's just great. It's great. Everyone just like gets amped to it. They were doing a boss battle, and I was playing the All Might theme while they were getting all hyped and stuff, and it was great to see everybody just really get immersed into it.
Were you shouting plus ultra at any point? I feel like you should have done that.
My Shadowrun game is just one long pun. That's all it is. It's just puns and pop culture references, and I give NPCs really like just stupid names, and then my friends they hear like a stupid name and they're just like, oh, like I had a gun runner by the name of Quabbin Malice, and like as soon as they said it several times, they're like Corbin Dallas. Oh, god damn it, Lewis.
Corbin, man.
Yeah. But it's funny because I take a great pleasure in making very diverse NPCs, and one of the player characters has fallen in love with my like 8-foot tall Maori NPC by the name of TK, Tula Cora. We just call her TK because her abbreviation for her armor, her unit is TK 201 or something like that. Yeah.
another case of love, TKO. Or TK20.
I feel like the biggest eye roll I've ever had is my players were trying to uncover like a chameleon type assassin, and they were questioning that particular assassin, and they're like, you said your name is this, and and your ID says that, and they're like using all this like identification info, and he just starts like quoting and like Eminem lyrics, and it's just great.
God.
It's just like I said it with such a straight face because I was just like, I am whoever I say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? And like you could see, or even though it's only like auditory, you can just see everyone collectively eye roll and groan, except for one person who just starts chortling like uncontrollably.
All right, folks. I believe we're probably going to have to restart the stream here because I don't think that the change I just made is going to take effect until that happens. So bear with us. I'm going to restart the stream now. So we're going to go offline for a few seconds, and we'll be right back, I hope. At least we'll be back in the chat, or we'll be back in the audio portion. So hold on. Folks, we're still working on this. The changes that I made apparently are not doing anything. Still saying that it's a bad video, and
I blame the full moon.
All right, so continue to entertain our audience if you would, folks, or gentlemen, while I continue to see if I can figure out what the heck's going on here.
Sure. Byron, tell me a little bit about your podcast.
Okay. We've been doing it for under a year now. We just recently, our most recent episode was about anime villains. We're trying to do something in conjunction with the Halloween season. Scheduling conflicts have made it hard for us to do like a large amount of spooky themed episodes, but the more we get used to it, I feel like the more we'll be able to bring content in future years. I have a couple of other ideas I'd like to try in the future. Like I want to try the Discord angle. Just as soon as we find out how much of our fan base is actually interested in communicating with us. One thing though I will say is that it's been a very educational experience. I'm learning that I still have a long ways to go before I can try promoting this brand just yet.
Sure. I mean, anything requires baby steps. Yeah, we didn't get to the moon overnight. But regardless of which, I mean, I'm really impressed that you're doing what you do, and that's always a fantastic thing when you have the opportunity to just dive in on like your fandom and things like that. It's really everyone likes to do, or a lot of people like to do podcasts and YouTube videos and things like that. But me personally, quantity is never something to defeat over quality, and you provide quality work, which is really good.
I try to. Yes, but even with my YouTube stuff, I don't really get a chance to do it like I like, simply because I'm burning the candle at both ends these days. But I like to put out a good video. I like to put out good episodes of my podcast. I try not to get discouraged by lack of feedback either, though. I feel like if I could get regular feedback from people, though, it would push me that much further than to just keep doing it.
Sure. I mean, it's really important to understand there's the critical feedback, and then there's the assholes, and it's tough. Sometimes it's tough to confuse the two because some people have a way of phrasing things that make them sound like a jerk when they're actually just not very socially cued in on how to talk to people. Trust me, personally speaking, with my job that I do, because I do a hell of a lot of customer service, and a lot of intimate face-to-face with people. I could start a phone call with someone yelling at me, and by the end of the phone call, they're calling my boss, telling me I'm the greatest dude in the world. You know, it's all about just like number one, listening to what they have to say. And then if they get in your face, man, just remember at the end of the day, it's work. So you just be like, hey, that's you, that's you, that's you, fam. Thanks for your input. Thanks for, you know, how you feel about that. And we'll take that under advisement and we'll move on to the next person.
Exactly. I've learned that not only from like my educational background, but also just from like doing things like being like a moderator in different forums and even Facebook groups. Like you need to understand, like it's you just need to understand that it's not a personal attack. It's just you saying outright that this is kind of how it is. And even as a reviewer, I understand that. Which is why when people talk about things like movie critics, like we kind of come from a place of where like we're not telling you not to watch it. We're telling you why we think it's bad. And some people can't understand that the two concepts aren't mutually exclusive.
Oh, absolutely. Star Wars fans. Excuse me, I coughed in a very specific title kind of way that implied something. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, some people they take things too literal nowadays. I feel, anyways, personally, that people they tend to, if you say jump left, then they'll argue why they're jumping left when they want to jump right, and it's like nobody's saying you can't jump right, bro. It's just we're just saying maybe you should jump left too because the train's on the right.
That reminds me of like people that I've known or friends with that would constantly make fun of the fact that I like One Piece, and it's just like, I'm glad that you don't like it, but you don't have to be a child about it.
Yeah, no, you're right. There is, if a person really wants to have a discussion with you about likes and dislikes, and they should approach you as a friend or at least somebody who's a normal damn human being and not come at you. Like a good example, a very good example would be Berserk and Goblin Slayer. I started watching Goblin Slayer. I think I've only seen 2 episodes. I haven't read the manga. Sorry, God forbid I have a life, but I don't read mangas. I don't have time to read manga, or I don't care to read mangas. Is what I should say. But I started watching Goblin Slayer, and the minute I shared it with like people on my Facebook, like, hey, I just watched this, and I had my specific status had been, wow, you really know the tone of an episode by the fact that it shows rape in the very first episode.
Yes.
And completely contextual wise, everyone who chimed in, with the exception of like 2 people, were sitting there like, oh, but Berserk. And I'm like, yes, that's great, but I'm not talking about Berserk. That's not the conversation. I don't care to talk about Berserk. That's not my point. My point merely is this thing that I stated, that this is how you set tones for things. You know, if you start a show with ultra violence, for example, then the tone of that show going forward will be ultra violent. There'll be a lot of violence. You know, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't be like, well, what about this show and that show? Because yeah, those shows have their comparable violence and rape and things too. So like, it's stupid, and it's kind of, it's very gatekeepy to be, in my personal business. Very gatekeepy to be saying things like that.
I had a similar conversation with someone on Facebook about that too, talking about the first episode of Goblin Slayer. He posted a status talking about how much he loved it. I loved it too. I just said it's a great first episode, but I feel like it should come with a trigger warning. He's like, fuck that. And I'm just like, I didn't say anything, but I kind of just thought, really? Are you really going to go with that whole people are too sensitive jargon again? Because I really don't jive with that ever. Like, yes, I understand where you're coming from, but there's a reason that it triggers people. And just basically say, oh, suck it up is really insensitive. I really don't jive with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with stating those things. I think it's actually very morally responsible to state those things. You know, saying that something might have a trigger warning doesn't imply that it makes everybody suddenly sensitive and on edge. It's to let people know that this is something that could potentially be harmful or upsetting to someone. You know, it's like I wonder. I honestly I wonder when like they're driving and then there's like a train coming and the arms come down and they're just like, oh goddamn snowflakes, they should just drive over the railroad tracks. It's like the arms are just telling you like, hey bro, don't be stupid, there's danger coming. It's the same with stating a trigger warning. It's just saying, hey bro.
Can I steal that for a comic idea?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, I will. Like I'm seeing it in my head right now, and it's just like,
It's like people, and you know, and it's always interesting because the people. This is something I've said for like 2 years going now, especially when it comes to cosplay. The people who constantly bitch about trigger warnings and things like trigger warnings are the same people who are the first ones to just bitch in general. So it's like the person you're complaining about is yourself because you're literally throwing a fit about something that nobody else has thrown a fit.
Well, I'm on my phone, so I can't check that one. But yep, Lewis can check though.
I just got like a black box with an exclamation point in it.
That's in Chrome. So, yes. Lewis, that's in Chrome.
Sorry, microphone mute again because of mechanical keyboard. Hold on, I'm going, boss. I mean, who keeps other browsers at the ready? What kind of making me boot up Microsoft Edge? I'm like Gandalf in the tower blowing on. Please, Microsoft-chan, save me. Nope, same thing.
So I can see it perfectly well in Firefox, but I can't see it. I can't see it in Chrome. It won't load in Chrome for some reason. If I look in Firefox, I'm actually watching us about 25 seconds ago. So that's a bad thing because a lot of people use Chrome. I'm going to check. Sorry for this, folks. We really should have been able to get this knackered for you beforehand. It looked fine when there was basically 2 people on when we were testing earlier. And that's not the case now. No. I can't imagine that the third person is what destroyed it. I know it's the same thing in Opera, so it's definitely not. It's not that it shouldn't be that it's just a Firefox issue. So I don't think anybody's hearing our voices either. So if you gentlemen would like to jump in and make comments, because they can see the comments. Apparently those are loading. And to say that we're continuing to work on it. We can see it in a Firefox browser, but nothing else, so there's clearly still a problem. Something like that.
I got it here. I'm just going to furiously tap in a moment.
All right, you're probably a faster typer than I am. It's all right. This is how we learn.
It is, but it's unfortunate. So the stream health is perfect, but now it says the video is not available on my live dashboard, but I can see the stream in Firefox using the link that was sent. Because this is private. Why the hell is this private? That might be... Oh, Jesus. Tap dancing Christ. If that was the problem, I'm gonna...
I don't know. I'm refreshing and I...
Well, and now it says the video is private, but then again, there's a lag. Unless that changed the code again. No, it's the same code. Let's try reloading everything there.
No, it still says I went back and refreshed it. Is it? Hold on, let me try something.
Okay. It's public. We're broadcasting. Let's go back here and force a refresh. It's public. We're broadcasting. Hey, look at that. Holy Toledo! It only took us forever and 2.5 days.
I'm still not seeing it though.
The link that I sent there, if you force refresh, so hit Shift and refresh, or F5.
Oh shit! There we go.
There you go.
I just clicked on the link.
Or click on the link.
I'm a rebel without a clue.
Ain't you that? So, folks, ideally you can now see us, and it's only been 23 minutes of you very patiently sitting there doing nothing. It looks like all of the chat that I've had is gone out of my window. I don't know if we've got anybody left watching. There's the three of us. Apparently we're all on now. So, guys, feel free to put that back out there that we're now actually functioning and live.
Right.
And I've actually got one. We're live. Isn't this awesome? Live TV, well, YouTube or internet or whatever you want to call it. It's amazing here. So, even though I'm sure we have absolutely no viewers left whatsoever, if we had any, we're going to try to continue with the show for as much as we can because, well, we're basically here and we're ready to go. So, first topic, boom, look at that. You all know who that is. That's Wonder Woman. That's Gal Gadot. And the news that's out there, and we kind of missed it, well, I guess it was after last week's show, is that this is getting put off for more than 6 months. This was supposed to be released in November of 2019, and the news broke that they are pushing the release date back until June 5th of 2020.
Huh. Did they say why? Is there a particular reason?
There is nothing stated so far. Nothing that I can see that there's no word on why it did. So she says, Gal Gadot said in a tweet that this is putting it back, quote, back to its rightful home, which this article here on comicbook.com is speculating that means it's a summer blockbuster type movie, that it shouldn't be released in November. That seems pretty silly to me. That's not a reason for making that kind of decision that I know of. Maybe it is, but it just doesn't seem that way to me. So, no reason, and there's nothing. That means that between Shazam and now Wonder Woman, there's a lot of empty space for the Warner Brothers superhero world.
Well, I mean, there seems to be like a big shift going on with a lot of stuff anyway, so this might just be like, this might be a means to have to close the amount of time between that and the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie.
There is a possibility that they're going to be using this as a way to sort of revamp their whole schedule going forward. That it gives them 6 months to reconsider what they're going to be doing with Wonder Woman. Hopefully they're not reconsidering whether they're going to have it, because clearly Wonder Woman is their most successful franchise right now. But that's the only thing that I can think of that makes sense. Or they're moving it out of the way to make way for some other blockbuster type release that they know they can turn around quickly. I don't think that's going to be Gunn Suicide Squad. That's going to be years in the making. But there may be something else that they want to drop into that spot. So,
I mean, Disney's given them the keys to the kingdom pretty much, so we won't know until we get there.
This is true. Disney's giving them the keys to the kingdom? I guess I'm not sure what.
By firing James Gunn.
Oh, that's yeah. All right. Having all of your eggs in one basket didn't work for them, Zack Snyder. So I don't know that they want to think of James Gunn as the savior of the Warner Brothers DC franchise. I think they'd rather think of him as just like one really good dude we were really lucky to get for maybe a couple of movies.
Yeah, I'm thinking with the resurgence of like Shazam and Aquaman and things like that, maybe they're pushing Wonder Woman back a little bit just to give some breathing room between movies and with their streaming service that they're developing, which I have a sub for now, and yet haven't watched Teen Titans because I'm an idiot.
How much is it?
We need a review. Watch it.
$7.
Watch it. We need a review.
I will get on that soon.
Soon-ish.
Soon.
Ricky, thanks for joining, and thanks for chatting with us here. Thank you for liking our cosplay collection videos. We like to do those as well. I don't believe I've ever seen. I'm not even sure I'm familiar with the franchise. I'm pretty sure I've never seen anything from it as far as cosplay goes. But we're moving on to our next topic here in our weekly nerd news. Nerd Weekly Live.
Just flows off the tongue.
Nerd Weekly Live. I'm going to inscribe that on my forehead. That is this news right here. This is from the PS4 SpiderMan game. It's actually from the DLC of the Heist, I think they call it. But the news is
just dropped last night.
Just dropped last night, and I've already seen screen grabs on my personal Facebook of people going, "Oh my God, Black Cat is so cute!" So obviously, people bought it as soon as it dropped. The news, however, is that this was the best-selling game of September. It had the highest launch month dollar sales for any PlayStation exclusive in history. Any PlayStation exclusive in PlayStation history, folks. There have been a lot of PlayStation exclusive games. This beat them all in its making of money in the first launch month. The 7th largest launch ever achieved by any game on any PlayStation platform, according to video game sales tracking group NPD. It's been out for a month and 2 weeks. How amazing is that? And
no pun intended.
Spider-Man. Well done. Lewis, you were saying.
Oh no, like it's one of those rare times where I'm just like, maybe I need to buy a PS4.
Maybe.
I'm a PC guy. I'm no consoles of any kind, and yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it. Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely one of the best purchases I've made all year, and I have a huge back catalog, but I dropped every other game I was playing just to delve into this.
Yeah, it seems amazing, dude.
Shining endorsement. Every caliber seal of approval.
There you go. Then write a review. This may be a theme, folks, where you see me just yell at everybody on the screen here to write reviews, but it's a
she looks cute as hell though. I'll give her that.
Does.
My boy Ed is in love with her. He just cosplays every Spider-Man ever, and he's just like all he's been doing is lusting after her. And there was a cosplayer, Hendo Art, who did like an amazing Felicia Hardy.
In this style already?
Yep, she already banged.
Wow.
I actually tried to link it in the chat, but for some reason it wasn't letting me link.
That might be something.
There's a cosplayer on Instagram, Genie Cosplay, who did a really awesome version of this costume too.
Cool. I shouldn't be surprised that this is out already. That people are doing this. I mean, the screenshots were out there before.
The future is now, old man.
You mean they didn't have to put out the old linotype image to show? Well, anyway. Now that I've got my first old man comment in, time to move on to our next subject, and that is, unfortunately, this is really the only shot, and this is kind of spoilery, folks, although I guess it isn't a spoiler if the studio actually, or somebody involved with the studio, in this case the actress, actually puts it out there, but that is Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts in the rescue armor that she will be wearing in Avengers 4.
About damn time.
About damn time.
I know, right?
The speculation out there, there's a lot of speculation out there that it's the Avengers 4 is going to be set 5 years in the future after the end of Infinity War. There is some speculation out there that Pepper will, and Tony, although Tony's not around, will have a child. But with all of the time travel that one assumes is going to be involved in Avengers 4, since we see previous iterations of all of the costumes in the various screenshots or various behind-the-scenes shots that have already been leaked. And of course, the Time Stone is a big part of the end of Infinity War. Spoiler alert, sorry. There's apparently even the possibility that the child will be retconned out. The child might be the next Iron Man now that Downey's contract is up.
Yeah.
Or
there is a precedence for Anton Stark.
I'm a big fan of Anton Stark, although in his original appearance, he wasn't exactly what you would call a hero. So
here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what variation of Anton we're talking about, but yeah, largely he started out as a villain who just hated Iron Man for a perceived slight between their fathers, which wasn't a thing, so to speak.
That's right. Anton was his nephew in the first version, where he was from like 2071 or something. Yeah.
He had like the weird cog armor.
Yeah, the big cogs. Yeah, but
yeah.
the very villainous looking, the angular eye slits and so on. I thought that was a nice touch.
And what I thought was interesting was the mask itself had the jagged mouth, which is very reminiscent of Ultron.
Ultron, Annihilus, yeah, they definitely made him look like.
That here.
What's that?
I'm looking at a picture of Anton Stark now in that armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting Annihilus vibes.
Very.
Getting Power Ranger monster vibes here. Honestly.
It'd be interesting to see whether they if there is a child in Avengers 4, if it's going to be named Anton.
That'd be cool.
That would be very cool. Didn't they?
I mean, Marvel has been subversing certain trends in recent movies, like with Nakia in Black Panther. So why not?
I'd like to see it. Oh, I mean, I'd like to see anything. I'd like to see something innovative and different, and a really challenging and creative way for them to solve the problems that they set themselves up with for Infinity War 4, Avengers 4 maybe. But so there's your first look at Rescue. We'll pop that back up here for just a second. You don't get to see much of it, but it's pretty cool. It's not red.
Well, they probably did that on purpose too.
I would assume so, to try to really separate the looks. I guess if it is set in the future, make Pepper look like she is definitely her own hero.
Mm.
So speaking,
what I hope they do with the helmet is they give her they use the Iron Man helmet with the Beetle type horns, maybe.
That's not. Well, they could. That's not traditionally what Rescue looks like, but then that might be a little bit too confusing with Blue Beetle with the blue armor. But moving on to interesting redesigns, and I use the word interestingly. That right there, folks, is Bane as he appears or will appear in the new season of Gotham on Fox. Or, as I have called him, let's see, what did I call him? That Tin Man from the steampunk remake of Wizard of Oz looks awesome. Or steampunk Darth Vader, or, oh my God, who thought this was a good idea? Please, somebody come to the defense of this. Can anybody? Can you even make it out?
All I have to say is, we live, we die, we live again!
Didn't even think of that one. Excellent. Well done. Oh my God. Immortan Bane. Oh.
See, you know what's funny is when I looked at it, I literally thought of two things. Darth Vader without his helmet.
Yep.
And one of the Knights of the Old Republic Siths, I can't remember his name.
Ooh, yes.
It's like Darth Caddis or Darth. I don't know. He has a very similar Vader mask, but this right here, the cone.
Yep. Yep. That's a good call. All of those things obviously went into this. What didn't go into this is any semblance whatsoever of Bane.
I get nothing from it either.
I have no clue why he has a built-in asthma pump. Like, it looks ridiculous. Like when I saw it, and one of my friends was like, "Oh, Lewis, you've cosplayed Bane, and you love Bane, and you've talked to Gail Simone about Bane, and had conversations about Bane, and you no longer cosplay him, so now you are has Bane." But you know, they're like, "Check this out," and I'm like, "This is what?" It was what?
A bane of my existence.
Yeah, and then somebody was like, "Hey, it's Gotham." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine." Then, you know, Gotham is literally my recycle bin on the curb every Monday. So, just trash.
It's so bad.
I was going to say this much about it. Gotham has proven that they care so little for the Batman mythos as is, that this doesn't surprise me.
Well, that's true. They've obviously demonstrated that. A couple of things on the chat. Ricky, thanks for being with us. See you later. Luminous, I'm glad you found us. The Lord knows I didn't make it easy. Gothy Girl 84. Yeah, that's the emo Morton Joe. Very good. Mad Scientist Mike, what's up? Back to you. And it looks like some Mad Scientist Mike. So it looks like someone shoved an old computer in Bane's chest. Well, yeah, or not even that. It looked like somebody took an old-fashioned circuit board with all kinds of old-fashioned resistors and then blew it up, and then shoved it into his chest.
Yeah, and never mind the cut of that. Why is he so goddamn square? Like, well, his shoulders are like he has like the 1980s like soccer mom blazer on with the shoulder pads. Joe Namath shoulder pads. Like,
I don't. Unless that's the whole thing is supposed to look like a piece that goes over his entire torso, and it doesn't. It looks like he's one of those dolls that you get the arms that you stick in.
Yeah.
So he's got the moving arm.
He looks like an 80s action hero. It was like a cyborg toy. I don't remember the name.
Oh
but
god, yeah, he looks like one of those stupid 80s cartoon supervillains.
Yep.
You remember the show Toxic Crusaders?
Yeah.
It looks like
okay.
Yes, looks like the main villain from that show.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh, that's horrifying. So and you know
like,
what's? Oh, good.
And like who assembled that and was just like, oh, by the way, let's gel his hair though. Somebody get some pomade for the hair and just really spike it up. We gotta give him that look, guys. We want to say asthmatic but sexy. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I got another for you. This is like
shave his head.
This is the Star Wars, OC. Do not steal.
Yeah. That's a Sith original character, old man.
Oh, and do not steal. I didn't get. I get it now. Okay.
That's the joke.
Well, yeah. So now let's talk about the real problem with this whole thing. It's not just the design is stupid. It's that they cast a white guy, Shane West, to play a character who is Latin in the comics, Latin in every single one of the animated versions, no matter who's done it. Every single one, he is a Latin character. He is brown-skinned, he's bald, he speaks Spanish, or it speaks English with a Spanish accent. And in Gotham, they make him a white dude with a Hispanic first name, Eduardo.
Excuse me, Ronnie. I'm going to cut you off for a second. I'm going to get my bucket of white paint.
I don't think you need to. I think they pretty much covered that.
Okay, just making sure.
I think they got that pretty whitewashed there, pal.
Just the right amount of white. The right amount of white.
Anthony, welcome to the Mecha Bane. Yep. Mecha Lecca Bane, Mecha Heiny Ho.
It is a shitty casting, and let's be clear here, guys, in terms of like whitewashing, and it's not necessarily whitewashing because there are light-skinned Hispanics. My sister is a light-skinned Hispanic, and I'm dark-skinned Hispanic. It's weird. I'm the mahogany on my table, and she's the cappuccino that you get at Starbucks. Like, it's just, it's very different, and that's fine if you had a light-skinned Latino playing him. That'd be cool too. I mean, I know a lot of people would be like, but what does it matter? It's a fictional character. No, it matters to us. It matters to us. If you switch the roles here and it was like a Latino person were in the majority and we're taking roles away from a white person, you throw a fit too, because you want your people to be represented, especially in a role that was originally created with them in mind. Even though the island that he comes from is fictional, it's in the Caribbean. It's predominantly Latino. Even the prison, the name itself, Santa Prisca, is Latin. Like, it's very, we're pretty banging this home that it's very Latin. So, I mean, it's silly to like always have these arguments about it doesn't matter, but then it does matter when there's a significant amount of fictional culture that's based on a real culture. There is that problem.
That's the thing about this argument that really annoys me. When people try to cry like reverse racism, it's not about that. The whole thing comes down to even if we as adults don't really care, there's a kid watching this. There are kids seeing this stuff, and they're thinking in their mind, oh, this is normal. Like, they can be the heroes, we can't. They can be the lead. They can be the important characters, but we have to be in the background. And this might crush the dreams of a kid who wants to be an actor.
And so, Mike, I personally don't think. Yeah, good, correct. I don't think DC is racist or Gotham is racist. What I do think though is that they're incredibly tone deaf, and they don't think of these things. They don't. To them, it's just we're casting for a character. That's it. You know, that's the end of the story. They don't think of anything else. They think about who they feel can best fit the role, which is great in terms of like developing a character and bringing a person to life, bringing a character to life and having somebody act that role. But at the same time, like, it's 2018. Like, there's enough people of a diverse nature that we can culturally like review roles and apply them as needed.
Yeah, like, don't play it safe. Give that hungry minority actor a chance.
There's absolutely no reason at this point not to cast a Latin actor. There are plenty of Latin actors out there who could fit the role, whatever age bracket, physical size, not like this guy is Bane sized by any stretch of the imagination. They're out there. You could find them. They didn't want to find them. That's, they went the easy route. It's like, oh, look, here's 5,000 white actors and 200 Latin actors. Oh, it's going to be so easy to pick out. Okay, we're going to take that guy. Do some work, DC. Anyway, it's the last season of Gotham. We're not going to have to watch any more of this so horrible, failing effort.
Nothing of value will be lost.
Nothing of value will be lost when this show goes. So, folks, watch it or don't, but I might actually watch it just so I can laugh at this guy. We're moving on.
It might not be his final form either. He might different.
He might turn into a Latin.
Maybe.
Could be. Yeah. Moving on, folks. This is, of course, a poster for My Hero Academia. And we have two bits of news that are related. The first one is directly about My Hero Academia, and it is that there's going to be a live-action movie being made of BNHA, which is not how the My Hero Academia. It would be Boku no Hero Academia. Live action. The Legendary Studios is making it. Alex Garcia and Jay Aschenfelter will be overseeing it. Don't know who they are. And Ryosuke Yoritomi will be running the project for the manga creator. Not the manga creator.
Kohei Horikoshi.
No, the publisher.
Okay.
The publisher is Shueisha, which publishes Weekly Shonen Jump. Um, I don't know how much of a role, it doesn't say in this article, that Horikoshi might have in this product, or where they are. Toho will be releasing it in Japan, but Legendary is going to be making it, so one would assume it's going to be primarily a U.S.-made product, even though the characters almost predominantly have Japanese names. They are clearly based on American superhero concepts.
Here we go.
Oh, Anthony, that was just weak. Weak.
It was.
I mean, what really are we gonna say? Oh my God, a company is cashing in under the fattest cash cow that they have. Yeah, but also look at the Bleach movie. I mean, that was fucking tight, man.
Yeah, that was surprisingly good.
The Bleach movie was surprisingly good. Attack on Titan was pretty awful, from what I understand.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist got good reviews. I didn't make it all the way through it. It just didn't hold my interest. But what I saw, it looked good. What was the one? What, you know this, Byron? The very successful chain of live-action adaptations from one anime.
Rurouni Kenshin.
Yes. By all accounts that I've read or heard from Byron or others, that is a very successful multiple movie franchise, live-action movies of an action anime. So I think that there's the possibility this could actually work really well, and I agree 100% with the article that said, it was on the Nerdist, and they have an exclusive on this, folks, so let's give Nerdist the credit, that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is All Might.
Oh, I like Anthony Ochoa's suggestion. Cast Steve Buscemi as Mineta.
Yes!
That is perfect.
Anthony, all right,
yes.
you made up for your last one. Gothy Girl, what are we cringing at? Are we cringing at the idea of a live action?
Or maybe she's cringing at Chodi's bad joke there.
That could be. My Hero, Boku no Hero Academia.
Maybe a Western version of this movie. That's probably what she's cringing about.
That could be. Emily Fox, yes. That point was made in the article on Mary Sue that talked about, getting back to Bane a little bit here. Bane was played by a white guy in Dark Knight Rising. Rises? Dark Knight Rising. I can't remember.
Rise. I think it's Rises.
Rises.
Sure it's right.
I just want to black that out of my mind.
Most of us try to.
Yeah. Batman shows up to the city. First thing he does is paint a giant bat symbol in gasoline on the side of a bridge. Yeah, so, because that makes sense. And
just to touch upon that, since you brought it up, yes, absolutely. And I love Tom Hardy, by the way. And Tom Hardy did play Bane, but also if you watch the entire movie, by all means point out to me a Latin accent, any Latin cultural references, or anything like that. You don't even know his name outside of Bane, and most of it is in reference to Ra's al Ghul and his Arabic culture. So it's kind of a thing where when you erase all that part of that person, then anybody can absolutely play that role if you erase and remove all that cultural stuff. But if you include all that cultural stuff like the animated series did, and how the accents and the names and everything, then you're implying a Latino culture over that character. So there's a difference there.
There's no question. They stripped out all of any sort of ethnic background or any background information about him at all, except for the fact that he was in love with Ross's daughter. So that to fit that particular storyline they were writing, and I think it suffered for it. And I agree with you. I think Tom Hardy can almost do no wrong. Gothy Girl, you're cringing over the idea of a Hollywood adaptation. You're still very much traumatized from Dragon Ball Evolution. Please don't consider that the gold standard for live-action adaptations.
I'm gonna be honest though. I agree with you that Dragon Ball Evolution was like ass cheeks, but at the same time, in reference to ass cheeks, every time Bulma picked up a ball or something, the young me was just like, God damn, I'm watching
Well, yeah, but still,
She was
that it
only
was
in
still
that movie
garbage.
tolerable. She was the only thing that made that movie tolerable, though.
Sort of, Mike, it's kind of a side question, and we're running out of time here. But I think the actor who plays Riddler in Gotham is amazing. I think he is one of the few highlights in that entire series, along with Sean Pertwee as Alfred. So,
Penguin's pretty dope too.
all right, now Anthony, you're not helping my argument with bringing up Death Note.
Because Rodney liked Death Note.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
So,
No, I mean, you're not helping my argument. Anyway, so there will be a live action. We don't know exactly when it's coming out. We don't know who's going to be involved in it as far as even a director goes yet. But it will happen. It will be made by a Hollywood studio, Legendary. So, Gothy Girl, you might have something there. Now that I think about it.
Is it going to be an American release, or is it going to be like...
both America and Japan. We released by Toho in Japan and Legendary in the U.S.
Okay, so it's going to be like the Kenshin movies where it's in conjunction with the WB.
Yeah, although Legendary is making Godzilla King of Monsters, and that is with Toho. So, we'll see.
yeah. Well, once we get more information, we'll probably include it in a future stream. So, you can always look forward to that conversation when it happens.
Yes, we will do that. Now, moving on to our last topic of the night, and that is Sweet Christmas. We won't be seeing that gentleman on his own show on Netflix anymore.
Nope.
Luke Cage was canceled on the day Daredevil Season 3 premiered on Netflix. Without the same sort of message that was at the end of the notification of Iron Fist being canceled, and that was the immortal Iron Fist will live on. None of that. It was just a straight-up announcement that there will not be a Season 3. And that's concerning.
Yes.
We now no longer have half of the Defenders with their own series. It doesn't look like there's going to be a Defenders Season 2. How could you do that? Unless they were going to be doing either a Heroes for Hire or Daughters of the Dragon, or maybe both. Both of those, by the way, are sort of references to the end of either Luke Cage Season 2 or Iron Fist Season 2. And if you haven't seen either of those, I'm sorry for the sort of spoilery sort of stuff. Plug your ears. But they do set it up that there could very well be a Daughters of the Dragon series because of the way they end Iron Fist 2. They clearly set it up in Iron Fist Season 3 at the end of Iron Fist Season 2. Basically, taking the Orson Randall storyline, very strong hints that was going to be the basis of Season 3. Well, there ain't going to be one. And there ain't going to be a Luke Cage Season 3 either. So, where is this going?
It's pretty wild because there's so many things coming out right now. Like there's a big blast of information going on about what's happening or what's been happening behind the scenes. One of the things that was mentioned is that there was a creative difference with Luke Cage and the direction of Luke Cage, and they couldn't reconcile that difference.
So, go ahead. I'll respond.
Well, there is that was mentioned. Then there's I forget exactly. There was some algorithms done, some analysis, because Netflix does not release its information on viewership and things like that. And it's shown a decline in a lot of the Marvel Netflix shows, especially Luke Cage and Iron Fist separately, whereupon Daredevil is starting to show a major decline, and so is Jessica Jones. So those two might even be on the chopping block soon. They're just not having the viewership that they were having when they first launched. And part of that is there's no one talking about them in the way that they were talking about them during Season 1 when it was a new thing. And that does matter to Netflix, in that people, they have to have growth in terms of watching the shows and things like that. And if there is no growth, they're gonna cut those off. there's no point. No one wants us to waste the money on things that people aren't watching. Netflix being a streaming service, they have to keep people watching all the time. That's why they produce original content. This is why they bought a studio in New Mexico recently. You know,
are buying. As far as I understand, the deal hasn't closed from the last thing I saw. But yeah, so if you're spending $1 billion over the next 20 years, which is what they've committed to, then sure. If your internal numbers show that you've got two properties that are not making the kind of viewership return that you expected them to, you're going to cancel them. And Marvel has made it very clear that Marvel in this relationship is a studio. Just like when CBS told Berlanti Productions, hey, the Supergirl thing just isn't working for us, and they canceled the show on CBS, Berlanti was lucky enough to be able to have his buddies at CW just pick it right up. But it wasn't Berlanti, which is the studio, that decided to have that show no longer on CBS, and Marvel is saying that relationship is exactly the same between them and Netflix. Netflix is the studio in this case. Is the network in this case, and Marvel is the studio. And the network said, we don't want your show anymore. And Marvel, I'm sure they tried to fight it, but they just, okay. You know, you're not going to pay for it, we're not going to make it.
Yeah, they didn't have the pull for it.
Hmm?
They said they didn't have the pull for it. That's really what it came down to.
Yeah, it's Disney and it's Disney. You know, so they've got more pull than you can shake a stick at. I think it was a matter of, Netflix just really didn't want to do it, and Marvel wasn't going to try to fight for something that they would have to push onto Netflix with cut budgets and so on. Your point earlier about the creative differences. So the articles that came out about that were citing inside sources, because nobody said this officially, inside sources, that it was both creative differences and in some cases monetary differences. Compensation differences. It's possible it could have been compensation differences from the actors, although realistically, unless Netflix was planning on cutting their salary, I don't know where Finn Jones is jumping off to get another series. But as far as the creative differences goes, there doesn't seem to be any indication that that's ever been an issue for Netflix. They've gone through 4 showrunners in 3 seasons of Daredevil. You know, they have no problem booting showrunners off or letting showrunners go and bringing somebody else on if they wanted the show. Now, granted, Luke Cage was a product very specifically of one very creative mind. But that doesn't mean you can't find another creative mind to come in and try to, step up to the plate.
True.
The second season showrunner for Iron Fist clearly made that so much better a show in the second season.
Yeah. What do you think, Byron?
I was gonna say I am of the mindset that this might be Marvel trying to consolidate their assets. I mean, it's a far reach, especially with all these other theories going around about creative differences and the algorithms and whatnot, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities regardless.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but if we're taking Marvel at their word, this wasn't their decision. Netflix canceled the series. So it wasn't like Marvel said, hey, we want to take these back so they can go on the Disney streaming service, along with the rumored Loki and Scarlet Witch series that they're talking about with Hiddleston.
Can they afford them?
It's Disney. Yeah. Yes, they can afford them.
Can by and large afford anything? Of course.
It's the Disney streaming service. So yeah, Disney could throw money at these guys, and probably will. But it's possible. I mean, maybe and it would kind of make sense. Except if that was the case, they would also want their most popular, which is clearly Daredevil. So I'm not really sure. Yeah, we don't know what's going on. I would like to think that I'd like to take that statement at the end of the Iron Fist release that the Immortal Iron Fist will live on to indicate that they're just canceling these 2 shows to make a Heroes for Hire.
That I would love that, man. Daughters of the Dragon too.
And I would love.
They work so damn well together. Like, there's such an energy between the two actresses that it's like, why not?
So, the Colleen Wing, actress. Someone give me a reminder here.
Her name.
Dang it. Anyway, she and Finn Jones will be on a panel at Rhode Island Comic Con. Which so far hasn't been canceled, even though the show has. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not they drop any goodies about that. We might have to get somebody in that audience.
Be Jessica Henwick.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Anyway, folks, that's the upshot is we don't know. And in the meantime, in 2 more days, we're all going to be watching The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and or Castlevania. So, yeah,
hell yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It does matter, but we won't know. We'll find out when they tell us something, or when somebody discovers something. So that's a wrap for us. We're a little over, but I'll still put it out there for either of you guys. Do you have a could we please or could we not?
The con, Mike. The con is in Rhode Island. Do you mean? No. I'm not being funny here. I'm just stating. Like, do you mean a specific where in Rhode Island it is, or do you just mean the con itself?
It's in Providence,
Rhode
Island, and it's at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, or the Rhode Island Convention Center, or the Providence Convention Center.
I have a could we not?
Yes.
Could we not have more issues with streaming services like what's going on with Funimation and Crunchyroll? Because it's eating at my wallet now.
So thank you. That was supposed to be part of the My Hero Academia, and I glossed right over it. I'm sorry, Byron. So a little tag bit of news here. The deal between Crunchyroll and Funimation, where they were sharing content, has ended, or will be ending. It was a limited deal anyway, and they've decided not to. Sony has decided not to continue it because Sony bought the other primary controlling interest in Funimation, and it now pretty much owns Funimation. So Sony has decided that they're not going to do it, and that means that if you were watching shows that were on one, thank you, Anthony. Alexa, play Despacito. So you've got until let's see, November 9th. Yeah. To take advantage of this deal, and then after that, you will either have to pick, choose, or pay for both, or as we like to say, find some other delivery service, which we can't recommend.
You won't have Verve as an option anymore either. So
well, that's true, because right, which was a product of the parent of Crunchyroll. So so thank you for reminding me of that, Lewis.
Yeah. Alternatively, everyone, if you don't like having 5,000 streaming services to pay for, don't pay for them. If you don't pay for them, they don't make money. When they don't make money, they start cutting deals to make money. One of the things way back when high-speed internet began to be a realization for everyone wanted to do the cable cutting and go online and watch their streaming services. It took them a little while, but they basically turned all your streaming services into just basically ad hoc cable. That's what it is right now.
Yep.
So if you want to break that up, stop paying for those things. I know you'll miss out on shows, but you know what? Me and my bros, we kind of pool in together and we all pay for streaming services, and each one lets somebody else watch something else. We cycle them around, and we all watch it or grab it. Other options.
We watch it somehow.
And now that we are on YouTube, where we have 230,000 subscribers, you may not want to be saying that quite so much, but because you never know who's listening. But that said, yeah, that's a good point. Make your point with your wallets, folks. I'm going to have one, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to do this real quickly. The game Bless Online went free to play on Steam a couple of days ago, and the problem is this is a could we not rake users over the coals, basically just ripped them off blindly like Bless Online did. It went to Steam. This is a game that looks like original Lineage 2 because it's on the Unreal 3 engine. It went to Steam. It created early access like small developers on Steam do, and people paid founder dollars, hundreds of dollars, to get this game so they would get unlimited DLC going forward and all of that stuff. And then a month ago, they announced that they were going to go free to play on Steam. People got refunds. I will give Steam at least credit for that, if not NeoWiz. But people got refunds. If you're a game that's been out for 7 years, and you go to a new platform, which there's no other development other than the fact that they were porting it to North America, which they had never been in before. Early access is not for that, folks. That's not what early access is for. You were ripping off your user base. That's straight up fraud in my mind. There's no way around it. And
we call that a dick move.
At the very least, it is a dick move.
I definitely agree with you, but also I will say that Steam needs to have accountability for allowing companies to do that, because there's a lot of companies that abuse the Steam early access, just like they abused Steamworks before that, and always they abuse those type of things. They always take advantage, and there's one particular game I'm remiss in trying to remember what it is at the moment that it did that. It was in early access for years and years. It sucked up a lot of money and then shut down. When Steam started changing its rules towards what's defined as early access and how long you can be in early access, they just completely shut down and ripped off their base.
Wow. So I guess it's a lesson learned, and Bless learned the lesson that you can fleece people.
Yep.
And by the way, I downloaded it and played it for a solid 6 hours. It's awful. Nothing interesting there whatsoever. So don't waste your time, and don't give, even though it's free to play, don't give them any money in any of the stuff that they're going to ask you to buy anyway. So that's it, folks. Thank you very much for tuning into our very first Nerd Week Live on YouTube. We'll see you next week. We might be moving to Tuesday night, which could be a little bit more convenient for some of our various contributors. But we'll be making that announcement well in advance. If we do, we will see you next week at 8 o'clock, again, to talk all about the previous week's nerd news.
And one thing real quick, guys, if you do want to join with us again next week, hit the subscribe button down below, but make sure you ring that bell as well so you can get reminders of when we launch, because that's the best possible way to always know when we're hosting something here, is to make sure that bell is rung.
Exactly.
Because as many YouTube contributors will point out, the site itself is really bad at letting followers know about updates.
Right. Without that bell, you won't know. I mean, we'll create our Facebook promo things and so on, and promos on YouTube, but still. So thank you again, folks, for joining us for Crash the Photos, Crash Override, Crash the Stampede on anything? Or Crash the Stampede
Steam.
On Steam, speaking of which. Louis Correa. For Byron McNeil, Byron D0 on Weeb Trash Can. Yes? Weeb Trash Can Podcast. And myself, first-person shooter, Rodney Brown, editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. Thank you, and good night.